So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my PES 2019 gameplay review. So the game's been out now for about a week, and I've played it quite a bit. I definitely have, certainly on the pitch, and this is why we're just doing a gameplay only review today, and not so much a full game. I'm going to be comparing it to PES 2018, and if you're sitting on the fence as to whether to get 19 over 18, this could sway your decision. Now, first of all, the overlays you're seeing for this video are on the PC. You can mod the hell out of the PC, and this is just the beginning. There are going to be some phenomenal mods to get, and it's the reason I play primarily on laptop PC as opposed to PlayStation 4. But the gameplay is the same. It doesn't matter if you've got an Xbox, a PS4, or a PC. The gameplay is the same for all of them. So we're going to be splitting this into different sections. We're going to first of all talk about the graphics themselves. Or themselves would make more sense. Now, graphically, there is no question PES 2019 is better, superior than every other PES that's ever been released. If you don't think so, then I don't know what you're playing, because it really is a phenomenal game to look at, from the turf itself to the crowd to the new lighting system they have. It all just works. You know, the textures, the player models have always been decent. The faces are good when they are of a licensed team and you've got the highest quality, but the default players still look like they've come out of, you know, a cardboard box. I mean, they're not great, but it's kind of what you get when, well, when you have a game with not all the licenses. There is a little niggle with the turf itself when it comes to replays. I mean, you'll see sometimes a 2D look, and I don't really like that, especially when you're lower to the ground on replays. You'll see the turf, it just looks 2D, which, you know, it takes away a little bit of the immersion factor, but overall, graphically, it is a fantastic game. The turf could do with a little bit of a makeover now and then. It's good in some pitches and not so good on others. Some of them it looks a little bit too green, could be a little bit darker. I mean, it's nitpicking, but it's just a thought. I think some of them look better than others. But hey, I'm on PC, and you can always change these with graphics, mods, and everything else. So graphically, there's no denying PES 2019 is the best so far, and you are not going to be disappointed no matter what platform you play on. So let's talk about presentation, because presentation still is, for me, part of the gameplay. As soon as you get onto the field, as soon as you hit start match, bang, you're into the gameplay side of it. And this year, presentation is exactly the same as last year. It hasn't changed. It has not changed. The overlays have changed a little bit, but apart from that, the players do the same walkout animations. They clap their hands, they shake their booty, and that's about it. I mean, it's not great. Presentation on PES could be so much better, but it is a massive department that has severely lacked for years and years. And they need to just work that from the ground up. I mean, you talk about FIFA. I've always enjoyed PES more than FIFA when it comes to gameplay, no question. But you've got to say that FIFA, presentation-wise, and the way they do things, it's just fantastic. You know, it does capture you a little bit more than PES. So yeah, presentation's the same as last year. It's lacking, it's not great. The overlays are a little bit outdated, and it needs a big improvement. And that sort of goes into the next point about something that hasn't changed. Commentary. It's exactly the same. So if you're hoping for new updated commentary this year, ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to find it on PES 2019. It's kind of recycled. There's maybe a few extra lines in there, but it just sounds monotonous, boring. The commentators aren't really involved. They don't really sound like they're in the game. This is a problem on the screen right now. Clipping, and that will something I will go into. I saw a lot of it so far this year. This is going to have a lot of negatives in this, by the way, but there's going to be positives, of course, but I have to critique the game fairly for the gameplay. So that was just showing you there some clipping issues that I have come across many, many times playing PES. And in this day and age, I just don't think it's acceptable to have that many. So yeah, commentary's the same. Presentation's pretty much the same, but graphically it is fantastic and a joy to play. So let's talk about the gameplay now and dive right into it. So as soon as you start the game up, you play it, you get a different feeling this year than last year. It is a slower paced game, no doubt about it. You can play possession a little bit more. I'm playing this as manual, by the way. I just think the game plays so much better when you turn off the assists and you just play football the way it's meant to be played. Of course, the choice is yours, and if you want to up the pass assist to 1 or even 2 or 3, you are going to get more of an arcade experience. But at the end of the day, it's catered to any kind of player. So as soon as you start the game up, you start playing, you notice the little things about it, the improvements over PES 2018. First of all, the little details are there. Players this year will throw themselves at balls. This is a fantastic goal, by the way. Pick that one out for Luka Modric, ladies and gentlemen. Top corner of the old finesse strike. But yeah, the little details you will see, and I have a lot of things I put up on my Twitter account of things that I was seeing in the demo. I still see them in the full game, of course. But players diving at the ball, sticking limbs out to try and block things off. You'll see one of Tony Kroos later who was stumbling and he puts his hand down on the ground to keep himself up. Little things that fantastically well done by Konami. No questions asked. They've done a great job of capturing the little details. The physics are there. And that's another improvement. The ball physics have improved. They're not amazing, but they are certainly, I'd say, the best we've had in a very long time. I'm not a huge fan still of the finesse. I think it looks a little bit too, there's too much bend on it. It doesn't look natural enough. But adding the rising shots and the different techniques for shooting, the physics have got better. There'll be a lot more bobbles to the ball. You can switch it on a dime. As I say, the shooting is nicely done. It's not 100 miles an hour this year. Yeah, there's still some venom in the shots. But last year, every single strike you hit was 100 miles an hour and would fly. This was a decent effort here. But the way the players sort of run up to the ball as well, there's a little stride in their step as they line up, an absolute belter. And different players, you will see different shooting abilities. Someone like, Tony Kroos, fantastic at striking the ball, Ronaldo, etc. Gareth Bale, they're all going to look a little bit different to players that are lesser well known for that kind of ability. There's also a lot more fouls as well this year from what I've seen. This match actually had quite a few fouls, but it does differ depending on who you're playing up against. If it's a rivalry match, you're guaranteed to get fouls. The player and the CPU will close you down a lot more, they'll slide a lot more, they'll be a lot more physical. If it's not a rivalry match, sometimes, I've played a 20-minute match and I've only had 3 fouls, which it's not enough, but that's the thing about PES. It's so random, and it really is. PES is the most random game in the world because one match will be totally different to the other. Now, it doesn't mean to say the CPU doesn't play similar, and we'll get to that later in one of the cons, but yeah, that's the beauty about PES. It is random, and you never know quite what you're going to get. The referee is one of these where it's kind of, I don't know if I should put them in the pros or the cons, because they are making more decisions, but a lot of them are wrong and some are right, and I don't mind that. I don't mind them necessarily being wrong because referees get them wrong all the time. I mean, you watch the World Cup, there were penalties given for no reason sometimes, fouls given for no reasons, fouls being missed. It happens, it's football, it's life. So I don't necessarily have a problem with the referees being good in some games and bad in the other. Kind of, a two-way sword. There's also for me a lot more freedom. Now, as I said, I'm playing on manual. It's made the game a lot more open and I can really ping it about. So for me, it feels less on rails this year than it did last year. Last year felt like every single pass was the same. It went straight to the player 9 times out of 10. This year, you will get a little bit more error. Now, if you play on pass assist 2 and 3, those errors are going to go. You're not going to get that. But when you play on 1, and especially manual, you're going to see a lot of misplaced passes. Shooting as well on manual is very difficult, but it's a reward factor. Learn the game and you will be very much rewarded when you do score an absolute belter. PES 2019 is an enjoyable game to play. I enjoy playing it, but there are problems, and I'm going to go over those now. For me, yes, it's better than PES 2018. I'll say that right off the bat, but these are the issues that have to be addressed within the next couple of weeks by Konami. First of all, the AI are abusing the wings. I mean, absolutely abusing the flanks and low crossing every single game. If you watch this video, you're going to see it time and time again. They just want to go down the flanks and whip in a low cross. And the thing about PES, it's got a slower response time than something like FIFA. And there is times where you cannot stop the AI from scoring. They will simply score because it's just been programmed that way. It doesn't matter if you had tight marking on the same player with 4 players. Not possible, but if you could, he would still score. You'll see here, he'll drill this one in, you know, there we go, low cross. It's always the same, and it's becoming annoying because I know what the AI are going to do. I did say, you know, PES is random and the AI do play differently. They do in certain pitch, you know, parts of the pitch. But they are now playing the same way in the final third with every team. Get it down the wing, cross it in low, and pretty much tap it in. That's #1 thing that has to be addressed by Konami. This was an absolute belter. There's the rising shot for you as well by Toni Kroos. And then the way he ran up to this ball, have a look at it. A little pep in his step, you know, he's coming back to him nicely, good pace, and then bang, and that was literally, I'd say, 2 millimeters from going in off the crossbar. So yeah, that's the first thing they have to address. No variety at the moment with the AI in the final third. They're doing the same thing every single time. Another thing that I have not seen yet at all is the CPU shooting from outside the box. It is non-existent. And then in a day and age where teams score from outside the box pretty much every game, I mean, people can now ridiculous strikes on the ball. The AI should be hitting it when they get a chance, but I'm not seeing it. They want to walk it in every single match, and if we're going for realism here, that's not it. So they have to address the shooting as well, because it's got to be fixed. You know, it's not realistic. Moving on to the next point, goalkeepers. Now, I'm not talking about human goalies. You can bring the goalie out yourself. You can use triangle. You can even use manual goalkeeping, which I've learned to use and I'm enjoying. Use L1 and R3 at the same time. You can control your own goalie and do what you want. But the CPU keeper doesn't want to come out off his line. I mean, his 6-yard box pretty much seems like it has some sort of a barrier around it, and he can't come out. When you're 1-on-1 with the goalie, you don't have to make a decision. Should I go this post, that post? The goalie will do it for you because he pretty much stands there, and you just smash it into the back of the net, and job's done. So they have to address that as well. You know, there are these problems here, and PES could be such a good game. You know, and I've said this, it could be so good if they address these problems. And they're not major problems, they're little things. I mean, right here's a point I wanted to prove. Gareth Bale absolutely not marked at all in that throw-in. If you've got a throw-in and you're defending in your own half near the 18-yard box, you don't just leave a player like Bale standing there with about 10 yards of space around him. No, once again, it's silly little things. And right here is the good point I was showing, the way Toni Kroos puts his hand down to the ground. PES is such a mixed bag. Even watching this video, I can give you one good point, and then I will show you a bad point after the good point. It's this madness. Luka Modric here going on a run, skipping around the defender and then having a strike. Nice bit of play there. But the AI this year, they are so random, and I keep using that term, but it's true. They can play so well and then just be the dumbest CPU I've ever come up against. It's baffling, you know. I don't know what's happened there, if Konami have tested the game enough or what's happened, but you've got to sort out the little niggles, and then we would have a really solid game. I mean, right here, the randomness. Beautiful. Have a strike, could hit anyone, could end up in the back of the net. The physics this year will mean that can happen. There will be goals popping in off players, off other players, coming off the crossbar. Anything can happen. But yeah, that's my point. It is a random game. It really is, but it's enjoyable as well. Aguero was being rather naughty in this game. He was giving away a lot of fouls. And as I say, there's other matches you'll play, and they won't give us much fouls. Another point I will also say, tactically, some of these teams are just not set up right. If you go in there, you will see a lot of teams have deep defensive line, okay, and playing the wrong formation or the wrong advanced settings. it makes the CPU play a certain way. Tactics do work, but if they're set up wrong, it becomes a problem. Here is a prime example of what we're talking about. Low cross, back of the net. There's nothing I can do in that situation. The AI decided they're going to do what they're going to do. And let me know in the comments, how many goals have you conceded from low crosses against the AI? Because to me, it's got to be, at least 3 or 4 goals to 1 goal that's been different. It's just so. I mean, even that one, it came off Aguero's studs. I don't even know how he got the power on it to put it in the back of the net, but he did. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, PES 2019, it is better than 18. But, and it's a big but, we need to see them coming out with a patch. Coming out with a patch. Simple as that. They've got to fix the bad points to really showcase the good. And if they manage to fix the AI with the shooting outside the box, let them shoot. Make them a little bit more of variety coming forward. It's too much the same, going down the wings and just crossing. The goalies have to come out more as well. Fix these issues and PES 2019 becomes easily the best PES game we have had to date. Another thing I like to see as well is a little bit more skill by the AI. I mean, I'll see the odd turn every now and then, but it's like if you play against Neymar, it's almost like playing the same against Chris Smalling. I mean, if Neymar's got the ball, he at least does 1 or 2 tricks. Pointless tricks, maybe, but he does some kind of trickery. Chris Smalling would just fall flat on his ass. It's totally different. But in PES this year, not seeing enough flair from players, not seeing enough player individuality. I think that may be an issue as well. I don't know. It's rather interesting, PES. It's one of those games. I love it to bits, don't get me wrong. And I will enjoy my Master League. But there we go again, another low ball. It's the same pattern constantly repeating itself. And there's just not a lot you can do about it. There is actually another goal coming up soon. Yeah, I lost 3-1 in this game, but I had more chances and I couldn't put it away. But I think if I was going to review right now the PES 2019 gameplay, what kind of a score do you think I would give it? I would say PES 2018, if I was going to say it was an 8, I'd say 19 is probably an 8.5. 0.5 better. For it to get up to the 9s, it has to address the issues at hand. Here we go again. Another near post cross and another goal. I literally cannot do anything in that situation. The AI just know they want to score and is exactly what they do. But yeah, I would give it around an 8.5. Maybe generous, maybe not. But I feel like if it wants to get in the 9s, then it has to address the problems because there still are a few that need to be sorted. Anyway, leave your thoughts, leave your opinions. I'm a PES player. I love PES to bits. That's why, yes, I will say PES is better gameplay-wise than FIFA. I will not say PES is better than FIFA when it comes to presentation and commentary and game modes. Absolutely not. But gameplay-wise, yes. I'm a FIFA person. No, I'm not. I'm a PES person. And I always have been. And I just want the best that I can possibly get. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my gameplay review. I definitely recommend it. If you enjoyed 18, you will enjoy 19. And if you had a bit of a change of heart and you're not feeling FIFA anymore, you know what? Give PES a bash. It's a different style. It's a different game. Totally different on the field. Mechanics are different. And it's, why not worth checking out? Check it out. Give it a go. Checked out the demo. Enjoyed it. And give the full game a bash. But we're back very shortly. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe, like it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll be back with the Champions League playthrough shortly. Take care.